All right. Are you ready?
What am I, the vehicle?
You're the vehicle. Just make the vehicle noises.
Got it.
I'm a good driver.
My leg is broken.
I'm sorry, ma'am,
Oh
but I have to deliver this kettle corn.
no. Okay.
Roll the intro.
Evening, officer. Is something wrong?
Just keep your hands where I can see them. Routine traffic stop. We got reports of someone driving under the influence. You know anything about that?
No, I'm only under one influence.
What's that?
The influence of Jesus.
It's time for Under the Influence.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
All right, everybody.
You were in
I was hoping you started singing.
Jude, you got to... Oh, I have my water bottle here.
Oh, I need
Let
a
it
water
die.
Oopsie daisy.
My nose.
bottle. Oopsie daisy.
Are we not doing anything special? I guess we don't have a thing.
We don't. No, I had an idea. I was gonna say
We don't
could
have it.
we could do a Full
Wait,
House.
why don't we have it?
I was gonna wait till we
Because I
started.
don't think I have it.
I was gonna wait till we started and then play Full House music through the Bluetooth and then run off screen and then run on screen.
Well, you know,
and
in
candidly.
post, I think in post we'll put it in. So let's just sit here in silence for a little bit and listen to it.
What if it was just black and you don't have us on the screen? It was just a black screen.
Yeah.
And then plays the
That was
intro,
my plan.
And then we just poof. Like
I will
right
say-
now.
That was my
That's-
plan.
So
No,
now
they're
they're
gonna
just
play it
seeing
over
us
this
right
conversation.
here.
No, they're
Something-
not. That was
talk about
originally my
Something
plan.
How
special
we're
about
doing the
Always
intro.
Sunny is that all the music they use is completely copyright free.
Yeah,
so
that-
we could rip off and then just
Yeah, we could just do the.
cut into Under the Influence, the video one. That'd be kind of funny
That works.
after this.
And we could just
Right,
get a bunch of
but
like,
it's like
C-roll.
We just
now. It
Cut right
enters.
into it.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, everybody,
So we're like, we're
welcome to Under the Influence Season 3, Episode 1. Shut up.
And
Episode 1
It's
of
over.
Season 3. We're so excited to be here. We're so excited to be back. It's been weeks since we've recorded. We've missed it. I've missed the three of you. Byron is an official. We're on camera now. I gotta be more careful.
He just touched me?
But, whoa. Byron
Whoa.
is an official member of the podcast now, a regular.
Yes.
We're super excited to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun. We've had a real joy of a time getting this place set up, which really means it's been stressful. Trying to get everything figured out, but
we did it.
video, you know, we did it.
We did it.
And we've been saying it for a while, and here we are, you know, ringing in the new year, the new season, ringing in the new season with video.
April 5th, the new year.
Yeah.
It's our year. This
It's
is
April 6th, I think.
Yeah,
It's
but not
the
just
6th.
us. There was also a lot of hard work behind the scenes. Like we've got our audio engineer, lighting,
Yeah, we do need to thank each of them.
stage manager.
Thank you,
This is a
makeup
New
and
York
costumes.
Yeah.
loft that we purchased and completely built.
So we fly back and forth between
These
Oregon and New
structures.
York each week now.
West Coast, East Coast, kind of like, penthouse on each.
Yeah.
Yeah, the panhandle.
That's what I call pH balance.
That's horrible.
I ripped that off from someone, but I won't say who.
Yeah, I'll.
But I
Someone
won't say
very
who.
popular, but I won't say who.
Someone very popular, huh?
Could be Tim McGraw. Could be
It was
Probably.
Tim McGraw.
could be Drake.
Could be Tim Nye.
Could be.
Shout out to Tim Nye though, for sure, because I have to tell you guys, I've been doing the majority of the setup for this, and I set up the video like situation, and originally we were like, we're just going to stream live on Twitch, and when we do that, the reason we'll do that is because it will automatically be putting the audio and video together. We won't have to do any editing later. And then we can like tell people, oh, come watch us live while we record it. And that'll be fun. And then we decided not to do that. But the important thing is how we got there. So originally it was like, well, that was an answer to the question of like, do we have time to edit things together and all that, which we realized we didn't. And so,
No, you're still good.
Baby did a stinky.
Baby did a stinky.
That originally that was like an answer to what are we going to do for editing? And so I was like, well, I've streamed on Twitch a lot. I know that that'll work. And then we could take those VODs, put them over on YouTube, and then take the audio and just put them on Spotify, which if you're watching this right now or listening to it, then you'll know the answer to what I'm about to say. But you can watch it on YouTube for the video. And if you just want the audio like you had before, it'll still be available the same way it's always been available. So depending on how you're hearing my words, yes, you'll already know that, but maybe you won't. But that was the plan. And so I had all this set up for the most part. Jude did all the backdrop stuff. And then like the black,
Even that one.
black
the
linens.
walls.
Yeah, Jude did the
Painted
black
them.
walls, and then Jude put this over here, like the couch and stuff. And then I was like putting the computer together and all that, and I was like, you know what? I got to download Streamlabs. I got to download a webcam driver for GoPro, for our webcam, or for our camera and all this stuff. None of it worked. Like Streamlabs, every time I open it, completely crashed. For some reason, whenever I plugged the camera in, it just, like, you know when you plug a device into a computer, bottom right, little thing goes, boop, 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 boop. Never happened. So it couldn't work. I tested everything at home on my PC because I stream on that PC all the time. It all worked perfectly fine. And then I tried it here, wouldn't work. Couldn't figure it out for like 2 weeks. Finally, shout out to Tim because he fixed it all. Tim comes in, figures it all out. For some reason, the camera wasn't coming up as a camera in Device Manager. It was coming up as, it was coming up as a network adapter.
That's strange.
For some reason, the computer just thought it was a network adapter. So he fixed it. And then after fixing it, we're like, great, this is going to work. He texts me when he leaves and goes, do you guys want me to just edit it for you? Like, I could just edit the video and audio together for you. And so I was like, cool. So the whole thing that we just set up, don't need it
Hey, do you guys just want me to like solve all your problems?
Yeah,
Or,
solve the
like, with
problem.
one Swift.
Yeah. After we spent forever trying to fix it, it was just funny. So I'm very
Yeah, you
grateful
couldn't
for
have
his help.
volunteered sooner. Gosh.
Yeah, Tim, you couldn't have helped out sooner. No, so I'm very grateful for Tim and for his help. So if you're watching this right now, it's because Tim did a great job putting it together.
And if it's not
Oh, I
funny,
thought you were going to say, so if you're watching this right now, Tim, and I'm like, he has to be.
Yeah. Tim, if you're watching this right now. Yeah. But it was just kind of funny how
So if none of the humor translates or anything, it's probably on the editing side.
Yeah,
It's
Like
Tim's
it is
fault.
exactly. Yeah, it's all Tim's fault.
it's Tim's fault. Yeah. So how have you guys been?
Good.
I didn't ask you. Just kidding. Go ahead.
That was
Anything?
Oh, Jude's just good. Levi?
Oh, tired.
yeah.
Tired?
Yeah,
Sorry, man. I'm a little tired.
but
Byron? Wait, what happened to your balloon pants?
I had to take them off.
And the red clown
Too
nose?
much.
Too much. It was too much for the
It's too
audience.
much, yeah.
They would have seen it and been like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We actually just
No
couldn't.
wonder you wanted to use headphones. You got those fancy looking ones. That's why.
It's so
Yeah.
nice.
You're like, we're going to be on camera. I want to show off my nice headphones.
No, it was just these are nice.
Yeah. These are nice.
These are nice.
I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
That's probably
I should also do that.
Yeah, you should.
I know. Dude, come on, listen. I'm on the young side over here, the winning side. You can't talk to me like
That's
that.
why you wanted to sit over there.
Youth.
What? Because you think the rest of us are old?
You are
What?
old. This is the old man couch over here. Beards on a lot of you. Gray hair.
I don't have a beard.
no comment.
That was pointed out to me quite ruthlessly earlier by Mikey Noodles before our admin meeting.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, he sent a meme in the admin channel of the Discord that was like, it was like the beard I thought I'd grow as a kid, and it showed Obi-Wan. And it's a funny meme. And then it showed Pedro Pascal, who historically is known for having like child facial hair, and it says the beard I got when I grew up. And then he posted under it, "This is a Jerry meme." Yeah,
That's
dude.
so funny.
And I was like, it'd be one thing if I've joked about that before. So I asked him, I was like, hey, did I joke about that on the podcast and that's what you're referencing? Or did you just come up with that on your own and attack me? He's like, the second one.
So
I was like,
hurtful.
what?
That's so hurtful.
What? That's so, I mean, it's so funny though.
It
It's
is
so
super
funny. If it was
funny,
like
yeah.
anybody else, it was somebody else. There's a few people that could say that, and Mikey is one of them, and it didn't hurt my feelings. But it's a little bit hurtful.
It didn't hurt my feelings, but it stung a little.
It stung. It didn't hurt my feelings, but it did sting. Certainly sting. If It certainly sting. Sounded like an idiot. I was going to also say, for you guys, I don't know if you were here when we talked about it, but also for the audience watching, some of these things here, placeholders. Don't worry. As we continue doing this, I want to hear from you guys what you think of the video setup, how you think it looks, if you think things need to be changed around. Whatever
think any
you do,
hosts need to get kicked off.
you cannot criticize the layout of this.
Why?
Perry did it.
Oh,
Who's that?
it's the best.
No, I'm just kidding. I put it up here on the wall, so it doesn't look as good as the way she set it up. But no, she set it up on the floor. And it was beautiful and wonderful and perfect. And then I put it on the wall.
No, it's going on the wall.
No, then I put it on the wall, and I'm none of those things, and so it's crooked. The Jube thing.
I'll actually talk about that later if you don't mind.
You want to talk about that later?
Yeah, it's
Is it
pretty-
personal to you? All right.
Yeah, it's just
I also want to point out for those watching, this is a picture of our resident princess, Levi.
I hope that translates.
I hope you can see it on the camera. And then over here, placeholder, little poster. We're gonna put something else there, but let us know what you think. Maybe you love that. Maybe you love that over there, and you want us to keep it.
I know I do.
Levi does love it.
Battle
You
Bear.
were so.
But you know, my
Levi
favorite
would
thing on the
love
wall here is the bull.
I love
The bull cannot leave. We should.
I
That's
don't think
gotta
the bull's
stay.
ever gonna leave.
No.
I actually also love this Battle for the
But
Northwest.
I love the bull.
But the bull,
I like the bull more.
the bull was really crooked earlier. I fixed it. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just kind of enjoying. This just feels cool. You know?
It does.
It feels cool.
Having
it
a
was fun
little
to set up.
space of our own instead of just.
It was fun to set up. Things are just different now. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Just built
We're
better.
the same guys. Hollywood hasn't gotten to us. We're just
No.
different.
No, I'm ready for the fame though.
We're just different a little bit.
Yeah, I'm ready for the fame.
Yeah.
It hasn't. Yeah, I'm thirsty.
Sorry, guys. Pause the podcast. I'm
Yeah,
thirsty.
can we pause the podcast for a moment?
Oh, shoot. We also have a haunted lamp. Sometimes. Oh.
It's wonderful.
No, I just had a lot of fun putting this together. It was
Foreshadow.
fun. Perry helped me with it. Actually, she did most of the decorating, and yeah, it was fun.
It looks nice.
Where were you guys, huh?
I offered and you said nothing.
No, you didn't offer to me. You
I offered to the group chat that we were all in and said, "Hey, does anyone need help?"
You're probably right.
And nothing. I could pull it up. We can
That's
pull it up
fair.
right there.
No, that's fair. We don't need to
Nice
check
going,
on that.
Jerry. How about you, Levi?
I haven't heard from Levi in a few weeks.
Dude, I have texted you.
Does your phone work?
Getting called out on air,
I'm
man.
literally dying. Help me. Call the police. And I got nothing.
Did
No, I'm pretty sure
that?
No,
Levi,
but that would be funny. I feel like I could have.
he sent like an audio recording of him like burping into the couch or something in response.
Oh.
I'm literally dying. Hey, but check this out.
At least you got a response.
I convert my ABCs
Into a couch.
into a couch.
All right, we're just kind of going nowhere with this. I do have
Flying
some
by the
things
seat
that
of
I
our
have
pants.
written down in the past few weeks that I think are worthy of sharing with you guys because I've purposely been keeping things from you.
How dare you?
I knew it.
Man.
I know.
All that paranoia finally
So I've
paid
got a
off.
few things. I don't know which one to start with. Jude. All right, let's go in chronological order here. Ash Wednesday, that was a while ago.
Yes.
But it happened while we weren't recording. Ash Wednesday. One thing I really like about the church, it's the one thing actually. No, there's a bunch of things. One of the things I really like about the church that we go to, we celebrate Ash Wednesday. It was my first time getting to go to that service. I really, really enjoyed it. We could talk about that too later, actually, if we want. But there's just a funny story about it. So Perry went with me, driving back from Wilsonville back to Salem. We had, the ash on our forehead, and it's easy to forget that it's there. I had to get gas in the car, and so it's been like well over an hour since that happened, and so I don't remember that it's there. We're driving back, we're talking, and I pull over in Brooks to get some gas. It's pretty late at night. We're at the gas station, and we roll up to the thing, and the guy, like, I roll the window down, and I look up, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Huh, Ash Wednesday, huh?" And I forgot the things on my head, and so I was like, and immediately I was so close to saying, I was like, "Are you a wizard?" Like, I didn't say that, but my immediate response was to ask this guy, like, are you a wizard? I didn't, though.
So incredible.
Yeah.
He's just like, are you stupid?
Yeah. I think I just was like, yeah. How did you? And he's like, I could tell by the. And I was like, oh, the things on our forehead. Duh.
Do the exact
I was
same
like, I was
thing.
so close to just asking, are you a wizard? Like, how did you know that? I should have gone with that. It would have been funnier. The story's not as funny because I'm saying what I should have said. You know, it'd be funny if I could say I did say that, but I didn't. And then it was really cool though, because we had a pretty good conversation. He was like asking me about it. Like, he's like, oh, that's a Catholic thing, right? And I was like, well, traditionally, yes, but I think it, you know, it's something that's just important in general. It doesn't have to be exclusive to the Catholic Church, and it's a tradition that points us to just important things and leading into like, well, it's well before Holy Week, but leading into the Easter season. And I asked him, I was like, so are you a Christian? Like, you recognized it. What's that all about? And he was like, well, I came from an Eastern Orthodox family, and so we don't really do any of that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, very cool. Like, are you still involved in church? He's like, no, I haven't gone for a while. And I was like, well, I think it'd be great if you started going back to church. So it was cool to talk to the guy. And I don't know. I just like good little experiences like that. And it was cool at a gas station to have a reasonable chat with somebody about Ash Wednesday and also look kind of like an idiot, which is always fun.
Yeah.
So,
Same thing.
yeah. You had the same thing happen?
Exact same thing.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Did you stop to get gas? Or?
No, it was getting
So not the same thing.
Get wrecked.
the burger from Carl's Jr. It's
Yeah.
kind of like gas for my body.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's gas involved.
I had a similar experience last year, but
You got gas once, or?
You had a burger.
but it was in a grocery store, so it didn't count.
You were walking around with it
Just
on your
with
forehead?
Yeah, I totally
cross.
forgot, and I was just like, oh, I have to go get like groceries. So then I go and do that, and I'm getting like weird looks and stuff.
You're buying like a bunch of cigarettes, and they're like, "Oh, this makes sense."
Yeah.
You have your necromancy
I
sweater
realized,
on.
and I was like, oh,
Your necromancy sweater.
Is on. There's like,
Sorry.
oof.
You're like, I am a wizard.
yeah. No, but that, I mean,
Yeah.
That was
Did anybody say anything about it?
I believe so. Like there was a conversation. I don't remember exactly what it was. I mean, it was last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I just had fun with it. But that was a wonderful service. I've not been able to be a part of it. It's very, I don't know. I think more people should do things like that. I like that.
Tradition.
Hmm?
I love tradition.
Yeah, me too.
Tradition of, yeah.
I like tradition when it points to what's important, right? So if tradition serves to remind us of things, like that's the point of tradition, it seems like, right? We talked about this on our Christmas episode last season, but there are things surrounding Christmas that are like these traditions, or like gift giving can tend to be kind of just like a tradition. And if you put the right importance on it, then it's very effective at teaching children lessons, but also teaching just families lessons and reminding us of something very important every year, which is what real love is, right? And like putting others before yourself and sacrificing yourself for them. And I just love tradition. Yeah, I agree. My problem with tradition, I guess, is when tradition is used as dogma rather than what the Bible says, of course. But it is sad to see the pendulum swing too far the other way. You know, like we've talked about, a lot of Protestants swing completely the other way, right?
Yeah.
And go, well, we have to completely separate ourselves from the Catholic Church.
Yeah,
It's
any
like,
sort of ceremony.
yeah, it's like, well, then you're kind of doing what you say they're doing, which is the same thing, which is like not actually analyzing what their tradition means, rather than, you know, sitting there and going, well, no, this tradition doesn't mean that we're, you know, heathens or blasphemous, which I'm not even necessarily saying Catholics are entirely, but what?
Oh, we've got a camera to actually pick up our like reactions
Yeah.
to things now. So,
Yeah. So you're trying to make it look like I'm
No, we're just we
super
walked
anti-Catholic.
we walked a fine line and we walked it well. We just kind of tiptoed. It's beautiful.
Well, would you like to less tiptoe?
It was eloquently spoken.
Catholic. No.
They've got 'em. 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 They a lot right.
Yeah, but so Easter is definitely my favorite holiday. I love it, and this surrounding it, I love experiencing more of the kind of tradition things surrounding the holiday, because I think they serve to put us in a better state of mind to celebrate the holiday. And if that's the point of them, do it. Go for it. It's great. Do it.
Yeah.
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 All right, we're a lively bunch tonight, huh? First episode.
Word. It's,
Oh, yeah.
We've
All
all
right,
been doing
I can
a
delete
lot.
that one, huh?
Nice.
All right, does anybody else have anything? You want me to just run through my list of like fun little things I wrote down? Jude, do you remember this? Tee-hee.
Dude, that's crazy how recently I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the two of you, when Jude and I were young, there was a
Man.
woman who was babysitting us, and she was like a family friend, and she had a younger brother who was a teenager at the time, and he just came with her to our house, and because she was like staying the night there while our parents were out of town for a week or something, and we played so much Halo 3 or Reach
3.
Halo 3 with this guy, and just so much Halo 3, like all day for like 4 days in a row, I think. And he was so much better at the game than we were. And we were constantly playing,
perfect.
you know, not co-op, but
Like multiplayer.
yeah, multiplayer.
Slayer. We're all
Slayer
on
mode.
each other now. Slayer.
And it got to the point where he would just have like 400 kills, and Jude and I would have like 6 between the two of us.
On a good day.
And we would be mostly teamed up against this guy.
Yeah.
And we were playing on this one map where there's a lot of like corners and stuff. And,
Cepitaph.
okay. Yeah. Nerd.
Sepataph.
Dude, those were the best 4 days of my life.
Yeah, what is it called?
Sepataph.
Sephiroth?
No, it was Cepitaph.
Okay.
He's literally said it like 5 times.
Yeah, epilogue over here.
Cepitaph.
And
I was waiting ever since you literally said Teehee to mention the
map
name. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it the one? That's the one with like the 2 towers. No.
That's Sand Trap. That's Sand Trap.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Those
it's
are the two
also,
sand towers.
also Valhalla has 2 towers.
Yeah,
didn't
but you were
even
talking about the
recognize
desert.
the name. So
You were talking about the desert, which is Sand Trap.
not sure.
Huh?
Nothing.
Listen, I'm the map name guy.
We could have the guy
We played
behind-
Guardians. The jungle one.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Okay.
He would just land behind us out of nowhere, and we would just hear tee-hee, and we'd know we're about to die, and then he'd gravity hammer us. And it just became this horribly frustrating thing, because Jude and I we're not cheating. We're not screen cheating.
We would never.
imagine. But we're sitting there playing, you know, like, and then you would just hear something behind you, and then he'd go tee-hee, and then you just get walloped into the next century.
Yeah.
And we were so
That's
mad
incredible.
about it.
It was
And then I've
bliss.
seen that guy, I think, twice since then. Well, I was doing a show, not this weekend, but the weekend before. Goodness, Levi.
I'm so sorry.
Cow.
Just beat the mic over the head, will you? So we were, I was doing a show, not this weekend, but the weekend before. I haven't seen this guy in years. And I saw somebody, and I was like, that looks like Jonathan. I was like, that looks so much like him. But he's, you know, well into adulthood now. I think he's got kids, and I was like, I haven't seen him since. I mean, I think when we did that, I was probably like 12 years old. It was before we went to the
Yeah,
WVCS.
I was a baby.
Yeah. So I saw him, and he was buying kettle corn from us, and I was like, man, but I don't want to. What I want to do is look at him and just go, tee-hee. But if this isn't the guy, that's going to be such a weird experience. Yeah. And so I was like, I could do that. Nah. And I played it safe, and I was like, your name's Jonathan, right? Which is also weird. But luckily, he recognized me when I said that. He's like, okay, I thought. He's like, Jerry? I was like, yeah. And I went,
That's amazing.
I went, Teehee, right? And he's like, Teehee, that's right. And so
yes.
I just figured you would appreciate that
Dude,
story.
that makes me so happy.
Yeah, it was cool to see him. So he bought kettle corn. He bought like the family bag too.
Oh, awesome.
And then I
thought
charged
you-
him a little extra. But
I thought you were just gonna be like
For all those
you're
kills.
You're walking around the
For all
thing,
those
and then you just hear
dude,
"Tee," and then
I
he
know.
shanks you.
Oh
Goodness.
whoa. Yeah, I actually have a really big bandage. Yeah. No, it was just fun to see him, and it was just funny. I was like, I told the whole story to David, and David was like, "You should have just said it. Like, what would have happened? The guy would have been like, "You freak! What's wrong?" David was like, yeah, I don't know.
Would have been a phenomenal story either way.
Yeah, it would have been. Second story I've told, and both of them are like things I should have said.
There's value in that.
Sure. Yeah.
I thought you were just gonna go behind him and go like, "Tee," and then punch him in the neck.
Right in the kidney.
Oh,
Or hit him with a hammer.
who are you?
Like he hit us with the gravity, just hit him in the back of the head with a hammer.
It's not even him.
You just pull
It's
out
just
a
some guy.
sledgehammer.
Yeah, that would be funny.
It's just some random guy.
All right, this is enough of me just running through lists. I got other stuff. Let's save it, Jude,
Yeah.
recently, we didn't really do a rundown before this episode, so
No.
I'm just like flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that phrase.
You like that phrase?
I do.
Yeah. You went to Mexico recently,
I did.
and I think in this public format, you should tell us about it.
I will.
There was something you said that you wanted to save till later. What was that?
Painting?
Yeah, you gotta stay on mic,
It
pal.
has to do with Mexico. I have to stay on the mic. Over spring break, I went on a mission trip to Mexicali to help paint and
Which you know what's
restore a church.
interesting? It was a fairly recent episode in podcast chronology. Sure.
Chronological.
Go with that.
Yeah, I think so.
That was the one where we talked about mission trips and whether or not like people
Yeah.
should do them or not.
Yeah.
So let's dredge that back up.
I don't think we should.
I'm just kidding.
I don't think we should. I don't think it'll translate. I just want people
No.
to remember the stance I took,
Which was that they're wrong.
which was that whatever lines up with what I'm about to say about this trip,
That's true.
that's the one I took
Yeah.
probably.
So they hired an entire construction team.
Yeah, so I
To
went
build
down
a whole
with some, forklift certified guys, construction workers, professional painters. And we were painting a church mostly. There was a drywall put up. We were supposed to be painting the ceiling.
Dwayne Johnson,
And then that was the first 3 days. And then the second half of the day would be VBS, right? Yeah. And it was really,
Who are you
really
looking
good.
at? The makeup
Oh,
artist?
no. Our sound engineer also went on the trip.
Yeah.
Didn't our makeup designer?
I took him under my wing,
Also?
taught him
No?
the way. Huh?
Never mind.
I completely didn't hear you.
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay. What do you want to know about it?
Dude, just like run us through it. Like, I want to hear a recap. So if I said, hey,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I know nothing,
Yeah.
so fill me in.
Yeah, basically.
And
like,
he also hasn't heard about the Mexico trip.
I haven't heard anything.
I get it.
I know.
Nothing.
So, no, imagine that you were just told, like, hey, you got to present, like, the highlights of the trip and what you learned and what you did to your church. Do that. Go.
Day one, we get there. It's rough. It's everyone's tired.
I'm so bored already. All right. Just kidding.
Okay, next subject.
Just kidding.
The work I was doing was painting the ceilings. So this is kind of a play-by-play. The ceiling was weird. There were stairs on both sides, and then there was like a divot, and then kind of a droop. So there's these weird like, what do you would call them? Indentations in the ceiling.
Channel.
It was like what, 20 feet up? Sound engineer knows. And we were gonna have scaffolding to actually like build and put up, so we could just paint it with rollers. But that never really happened. We just had one scaffolding piece, like one big bench that we had to scrape and pull along the floor. So we got one half of it done, but then the second half, we just had to abandon to join the exterior painting team, so that could get like almost finished. And so I ended up going on the roof and just kind of like grabbing onto it and leaning off.
What?
And paint rollering the top of the roof. And I had to get on a giant ladder, which I hated. It's terrible.
But you didn't tell people you hated it until later, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I kind of wanted to do it. I just wanted to do, be down there and do. I got to give devotions. That was probably the highlight of the trip. I got to give 2.
Like you gave them to somebody, or?
Yeah, we write a ton of pamphlets overnight and then hand them out.
That's cool.
Yeah. No, you present in the morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I believed you. I feel stupid.
No. Yeah. Make like 50 pamphlets and just be like,
I
here
believe
you go.
you.
The last 10 are really bad.
I thought that was cool.
Oh, that would have been cool. No. Everyone has to do devotions at some point, whether a group or not. I wanted to do mine alone because I'm kind of a Sigma like that. And the value of doing devotions was like impossible to quantify. After the first one, I immediately wanted to do, if there was another like blank space, I wanted to do it again, because it was just like the sound engineer said while we were down there, while you're pouring so much out of yourself, the Holy Spirit just kind of refills you. And so it's valuable.
Like a salmon.
Like a salmon.
They swim upstream.
And refill vessels.
You definitely didn't butcher the analogy at all.
I
Like a
don't think
salmon.
so. I don't think so at all.
Yeah. It was really valuable to like just try and share how the Holy Spirit was working in your heart. And then VBS, I met a kid named Caesar who kept trying to chop off my cabeza.
Caesar or Cesar?
He tried to
Caesar.
cut off your.
I say Caesar because I'm American. But he kept trying to cut off my cabeza the first day because there was like balloon animals.
Was he like
And-
cartel or something? Or
Yeah, it was like 8. 7.
Nice.
Actually, he was 4, I think.
wow,
It was
they gave him
small.
a machete.
Yeah, it's a balloon.
It's his
Oh.
And then
Huh?
It's his mother's machete.
Oh,
my
okay.
mother's machete.
It's his initiation.
But then the second day, he came back to me and he wanted to take me to like every station, and then the same the third day. So it was cool to build a relationship. I'd been using Babbel, so I could speak to him pretty well
That's
Was
cool.
he still trying to cut your head off?
every day. Yeah, he
Nice.
kept calling me Pinata Boy.
That's incredible. That's adorable. He
Yeah,
was
I
like
didn't get
4.
what he was saying until one of the girls from down there started translating, and he was like, "He's saying that you're full of candy. You're a Pinata Boy." And that's why he wants to chop off your head.
Oh, it's because you're so sweet.
Because I'm so sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got to do face painting, and it actually turned out really well. But he wanted like a big old mermaid right on him, just over the face.
On your face?
Well, on his.
Oh, okay.
I got this super cool.
Well,
gun.
and then when
Gun?
he
Yeah.
when he opens his mouth, it can be
Wiggle.
swimming.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was cool. And then we went shopping. I got a cool poncho. I forgot to bring
Did you
it.
get the kid anything when you took him shopping?
No. He gave me a huge bruise. It was after VBS.
So, what I'm getting is your recap of your mission trip is you painted dangerously.
Yeah.
Well, OSHA doesn't exist in Mexico,
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
an American.
Yeah,
I ended my
American
first
thing.
devotion with what
What does OSHA stand for?
10%.
Is O Oregon?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's Ocular Safety Health Science
Liar.
Association.
You messed
Is it
up.
really? It's not ocular.
It's definitely not ocular.
I don't think it's any of those.
No.
Would you say ocular social health?
I already
That's
forgot.
I think it's occupational.
Oh, occupational sorority.
Yeah, yeah.
Horowitz.
Homeowners.
Yeah. There we go.
Association.
We got it.
No, there's no A at the end.
OSHA.
OSHA. That's an
What do you think? It's UH at the end?
It's a UH.
OSHA.
and I'm
Underhill.
the dyslexic one.
Yeah, that's a.
Did you think it
Just
was
for clarification.
OSHA?
I thought people were saying ocean and just adding an and they're like, Jude, walk us through what were the devotions about.
Yeah.
The first one was about making sure that we're like doing everything we can. It was kind of generalized, I guess. I said 110%. Like, don't get dehydrated and die, obviously, but I just wanted people to take advantage of the time. Because the first time I went, I did try and do everything, but the day you get back, you immediately, in hindsight, look at everything you could have done more, and you're like, shoot. So I was really encouraging people to try and make sure that they do every possible thing they can, because that's the reason we're down there. And
By everything you can, you mean like take every opportunity to serve, or
yeah, not just enjoy the experience, but
I see.
really help the church and serve and just connect with the people. Because
Right.
each person you have influence on is like, the average lifespan, like 80 years. So if you just had an impact with 2 people, it's 160 years, of potential impact, and it spreads exponentially. So the more you can do, the better. And then I said 110%. It's just breaking a few OSHA violations or something, and that kind of caught on. It was pretty cool. Kind of became a thing. But then the second one was kind of saying it was the second or third to last day that we were actually doing stuff for the church. And it was just, this devotion isn't for now, but it's for when you get back, to really look back and reflect and see what you went home with. And I know that not mission trips aren't about getting something to go back home with, but I believe wholeheartedly every time you pour yourself out and the Holy Spirit works through you, that there's something residual that you learn and become better for. So I was encouraging people immediately to hold on to this and then kind of like open it up when they get back and reflect on it intensely in prayer and meditation, and see you've spent the entire week working and working and working, and now how can you bring something back that you can work on here? And that was a rewarding experience.
Yeah. I think the mission trips are partly about what you bring back.
Yeah.
I mean, you bring back an experience and hopefully things that you have learned, which it sounds like that, that's part of it for you. And then you bring that back to the church that you're coming from, right? You bring that back to the congregation. And so, I mean, I used it kind of as a loose example earlier. I was like, what if your church was telling you to present right now? But that's a big thing, I think, for missionaries or for people that just go on mission trips. I think that they should come back and they should be presenting to people, especially their congregation, because often the congregation is the one who, like, they're praying for you, they're sending you down there, they're supporting you, and you get to come back and tell them, hey, I may be the person, I was the hands down there, but like, you were all a part of this, almost as much of a part of it as I was, right? And so you get to tell them what impact they helped make. And then that gives them an opportunity to hopefully learn something as well, because without that, they might just go like, oh yeah, that missionary went down there and have no idea what happened. But when you come back and you're reporting back, like, which I think goes hand in hand with what you're saying, come back and actually consider what you did and think about it and be intentional. You give the opportunity to the rest of that congregation to learn from it as well, even if they weren't able to go down there and be hands-on, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really great.
And now I'm going to share what I came back with. No, I didn't get like some cool piece of technology. I gained a really humbling experience. There was a guy named, I'm forgetting his name. I'm terrible. I have problem like believing in the supernatural. And I usually, that comes into conversation when I'm talking about like demons or like ghosts or something in the Western world. But I hadn't really realized that had bled into my belief in miracles as well. Just that, yeah, they happen, but it's just almost like they never happen in the Western world, so that I can visibly see. So I just had this like, I had no appreciation for God literally stepping and interacting directly into like people's lives. And I realized that. And then when I went down there, this guy was telling me a story about how he witnessed 2 miracles, like real healing, insane overnight healings that were like physical, and they had X-rays from a doctor the day before and after, and it's a physical like evidence that you shouldn't need, but that he saw, and it made it so real. Like this guy, there was a rope swing over a lake, and it was in the summer, and there was like no water, and so he just, yes, and his whole face was fractured, like destroyed.
Oh, wow.
His cheekbones were like puffed up purple, like there was no face left. And they went to but the whole time, like he got knocked out, completely unconscious, and they had to wake him up, and he was just like, I'm in pain, yeah, but not that bad. Like my face just kind of hurts. They took him to the doctor, and his entire skull was destroyed. Jeez. Like his face was destroyed. They have an X-ray of it, and he's like, yeah, I'm not in that much pain. And so he goes home, and the doctor's like, something's really wrong if he's not in that much pain.
Yeah.
Like there's a brain issue.
Yeah.
And so they call him back, and he's like, I just don't understand it. And they do a full run through like MRI and X-ray, and his face is just like, there's just like fractures right here, and that's it. That's it.
Is it not possible that when they initially scanned it, they were just wrong?
Bone.
If it was an actual X-ray, it wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah.
It's
how it
real.
works.
Like it's just this insane, and this is a guy that, like I tell the story, so it's not a person you met, so it doesn't have the same
Yeah.
impact. But like, imagine your closest friend telling you, just like, it is impossible for this not to be a miracle.
Yeah.
A miracle is the only possibility, the most radical. It's the only single one. And that was just like it blew my mind.
Yeah, I find myself typically falling, unfortunately, on the skeptic side of a lot of those things as well. And we've talked about this at our men's group, Byron, a little bit, right? Recently, how like I've really enjoyed that group because each of us is so different in our background, where we're coming from, and we talked about miracles, and I think I might be the one that was the most skeptical, or at least my background is the most skeptical of that kind of thing. And I certainly wouldn't deny that they happen. But I think the difficult thing is, especially in America, it's like you can usually look at the intention of why someone's saying that it's happening, and or like why they're claiming to do them, and then that tells you whether it's real or not. But I don't doubt that this happened. That's not my intention. It's just that I've always been somebody that's like, like you were saying,
Yeah.
It's like really easy to just doubt it. Yeah, but I mean, that's fascinating. I thought you said he had two, right?
Yeah, and another one, because he was in kind of the same boat that I found myself in.
Sorry, was this the guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
One was his friend, one was another person, where they went to this really remote town, and there was a church service, and he was just a part of this coalition of people from churches, and one of them started doing like prayer for healing on a guy who had like a physical, like his ribs were so malformed on the left and right side that they were almost puncturing the skin. They were coming out. And on his back, there was like a disc completely like protruding. And he was also super skeptical. And so he was like hiding towards the back, the guy telling me the story. And then he got called up to translate the prayer. And so he put his hand on the guy and on his ribs and physically felt them like move. And then it was just normal.
It's crazy.
But it's just like you can tell when you're looking someone in the eye and they're not swearing on their life because they don't need to show you how intense they are. It's just how truthful they're being. It's just inherent in the conversation. And it was an emotional experience, which was not, what I was expecting, because I'm always wanting intellectual experiences and like understanding, and then that was revealed, and that moved me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It moved you in the sense that you felt like convicted for being skeptical, or
yeah,
or just that like witnessing or hearing someone talk about an experience they had that was like a tremendous miracle from God, like in that way it moved you, I guess, of course. But
I mean this in the non-jokiest way possible, but it was just like radically humbling.
I didn't
just
think that
like,
sounds jokey at all.
Well, it's like I'm super humble.
Oh.
But it was just radically humbling, like that I had this. I wasn't even aware of it, but that I had just kind of decided I had an understanding of miracles, and then it was shattered.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Like, they don't really happen in the Western world. It's more of this and that's that, and I understand it, period. And then that was just completely uprooted.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Because we always have all of these references of these charlatans
Yeah.
that do it so that they can get like more fame and like more people like giving money to them and who they are, and then they're like grifting the crowd and things. Like that's what we always see, and then people always reference that, and it's like putting a bad name on Christianity.
I feel like we're more known for the charlatan miracle in the West than...
Yeah. So we're just like, whenever we hear about miracles and stuff, we're just like, yikes, because we I mean, it may come out later. Oh, that was all fake, and
Right.
then it doesn't help the image of Christianity and the church in general.
Not to say that it doesn't happen, but do you think that why do you think that we don't see it as much here? This could be for anyone, but like you had to go to Mexico to see a story of this and like feel the presence, whereas I'm gonna say this couch hasn't seen or heard of a story of a first person account of this happening.
It's interesting. I was about to just say, like, I wonder if in places like that are different, like, you stand to gain a lot in America for lying about something like that, like fame and power and money. I wonder if in other areas, especially areas more remote like that, what do you stand to gain for lying? Right? Like, what do you stand to gain in a small, remote community for being like, I can perform miracles, I can do this, come before me, you know, and having your wife, you know, the whole story with whatever that guy is in that revival tent, like his wife is giving him the
reading
answers or
the
whatever through the,
cards,
like, what do you stand to gain in a really small community where you're, first of all, more likely to be found out, and also, like, what sort of fame and power and money are you going to obtain in a small, remote, you know, second or third world country? And so I think that, I guess it doesn't really answer your question, but the only thing that says to me, I think, is that we, unfortunately, in a country like America, or a first world country where people stand to gain things from lying, you know, and they stand to gain things from obtaining power and fame through lying. So I think that might be why, to flip the question on its head a little bit, that might be why we maybe don't see things like what happens here happening in those other areas. But I don't know why maybe we haven't had that. And also might just be, go ahead, sorry.
Oh,
I don't know who started to talk.
I did.
I can't see.
I didn't even.
Yeah, it's harder to see you guys than it used
really
to
hard
be.
to see.
you.
I'll get
But
real
maybe
close.
that's
so you
not-
can
For
hear
me and Jude, it's a lot easier because
That's
we
true.
can
You just look the
like,
same
We're-
direction.
yeah,
look
just
the-
there's
We'll
kind of
switch
a
things
cricket
around
in
every
there.
episode.
we our eyes like
I'll
make
take
contact.
I'll take the crack seat next time, Byron, so you don't have to
The
worry.
crack seat.
Okay.
Isn't that what you called it earlier?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sitting in the crack.
I actually even told Jude I was going to sit there because I don't mind it, and then I sat here. Sorry,
Jerry
I forgot.
likes the middle.
No, I don't mind it. I don't think it's a.
It is nice, this microphone and everything.
That's the
Anyway,
best microphone.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
the
Anyway.
placement for it and stuff.
Back to the question.
Oh yes. So what I was gonna say was, I don't know if miracles are as necessary for the faith in Western, more modern areas because we have access to witness accounts of everything, and like we've got so many people that have like gone to the Holy Land and like found like more and more evidence that points to God. And I don't know if like the miracles are needed as much here. I lost my train of thought. That miracles just aren't needed as much here for the like somebody to become a Christian, because it's also about having faith
Yeah.
in God, and like Jesus was designed to be a stumbling block for people. Like it's a difficult thing to be a Christian and to follow God, because if it was just like, if God just comes out of the heavens and it's just like, hey everybody, like follow me or go to hell, and then everyone's like, okay, then
Isn't that kind of what he did?
no, yes, but like it's different because like people that have the ears to listen to and like respond to it and have faith in God rather than seeing everything with their eyes and being like, oh yeah.
Right. It's foolishness to those who. What is it? Foolish. Yeah, I can't read lips. Marriage key.
Marriage key. What?
Foolish to those who are perishing. Thank you, guy in the chair.
Marichki.
I couldn't read lips, man, and I was not remembering the word. There's something I was going to say in response to what you're saying now. I don't remember what it was. Poo. Oh, how miracles were originally used also, right, to, like, guy in the chair was talking to me about recently. They were used to confirm, like, the validity of what people were saying, right?
Yeah.
Am I incorrect? Yeah. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Like,
was to be like the apostles are going out and speaking on behalf of Jesus and saying these things are true, and people are like, well, how am I supposed to know it's true? And he's like, well, come over here, let me heal your leg.
Yeah.
And then here's the power of God to show
in-
you that I'm telling the truth.
And in the West, we actually have like found more and more evidence as
Yeah.
time goes on that the Bible's correct. Like,
Yeah. Well, we also have the finished word, right? We have scripture, where at the time they didn't have the compiled word of God, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So Jude, tell us why you think you could heal someone. Just kidding.
Picked up a snake down in Mexico. And
Ooh.
whoa! Bit me in the eye.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
really
Whoa.
bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm
That
blind.
would be really, really bad. It bit you in the eyeball.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that explains a lot. Sorry, we did get a video in here to watch and react to, but I don't have the system sounds set up, so we can't do that. We'll have to do it on the next one, so don't let us forget. But that'll be fun. And the cool thing, too, about doing this on video is we can probably have, Timmy Boy put it up on the screen or something. I don't know if that's... Don't want to promise too much and be wrong, but that's interesting. There's a little picture of us in there. Whoa.
Wow.
We look pretty nice, huh?
Wow.
Looks good on camera. So, sorry, I derailed us.
It's okay.
I'm such a jerk.
How dare you?
This guy.
No, I'm glad you had that experience, though. Because at the very least, like you said, it humbled you, right? And so, what is it that you said in there? There was something in there that I really liked where you said you even subconsciously just believe that you may have had the idea of how miracles work figured out or something, right?
Yeah, that I can understand it.
That you could understand it, and that at the very least, this is something that made you go, well, I don't have everything figured out,
Yeah.
and I'm not perfect, or I'm not, sitting here with everything figured out, I guess, like I already said, and
Which I thought I did. Yeah.
which yeah, I know,
That's me.
you often think you do, but I think it's interesting that you point that out because it's coming from a different place, but you had this experience with someone who had a firsthand account of some miracles happening, right? And I think often, though, you're hitting on something that people often come back from mission trips realizing or experiencing, which is just a humbling experience, right? And that can just be because of what's going on. Oh, that can be just because of people just experiencing a totally different culture and like what they lack, and how content they are, even in what they're lacking, like with tactile or financial resources and things like that. But then, whoa, we just got a big Pastor Hank answer here. We'll have to read that in a second. But I know for me, like when Levi and I went to, you didn't go, right? I'm not forgetting.
To Mexico?
No, you didn't go.
I've never gone. No.
Okay.
I wanted to go, but I never did.
He doesn't want to leave the States.
He's too scared
That's a lie.
of 4-year-olds with machetes. No, when Levi and I went, I think that was a kind of a conversation that we were constantly having while being there and then coming back, but it was all for different reasons. Like you had some people saying, I just feel so humbled because these people have so much less than we have, and they're still so content, and there's a lesson to learn there. But then also, like my experience was going down there and just being worked, not to death, but like just being absolutely worked ragged kind of. And we were doing hard manual labor, and you spend each day coming back, and like I've always done a fair amount of manual labor working growing up, but like it was nothing compared to what we were doing down there. And then you come back and you go, maybe because of the OSHA thing, they don't have it, but you come back going like, wow, I thought that I was good at these sorts of things, or I thought that I had all this energy, or I'm just a really good worker, and I'm thankful for the ways that some of those things might be true, I guess, but also like, man, I just didn't even know what work was, or the other times that I've thought that you just think that you accomplish like really great things sometimes, then you go take part in something like that, and it just kind of humbles you, because you have to think about, was I really thinking what I accomplished was really great, or was I taking pride in God, right? And what he has, like what his will is and what he's asking us to do, or was I just taking pride in like what I felt like were my own accomplishments and things like that? And no, I just think it's interesting, because I would expect somebody that comes back from like a trip to Mexico to be like, yeah, I learned humility, Mm-hmm. But you just had a totally different way of having learned that, I guess is what I'm getting at. And in a way that's roundabout, and I would not have seen like humility in necessarily. And I just think that's really cool, because I think humility is something that is so necessary to the Christian. And it's really easy to say that, but it's also really easy to not actually believe it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a broken record a bit. I've been talking about this a lot, but we haven't had the podcast, so I haven't said it on here. But you know the 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon kind of thing? Byron knows what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, because I said it at that Bible study. You know the 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon? How you can say like anybody, and then within 7 ticks or whatever, you should be able to get to Kevin Bacon. Yeah, like you can say Byron.
I'm 4.
You're 4. Are you really?
Yeah.
No way. Tell me.
Me, Michelle, her sister, Kevin Bacon.
Oh, wow. Those people.
Her sister is Kevin Bacon.
Her sister.
So someone you know, her sister has met Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Wow. See, yeah, it's real.
You can.
No, I can?
Yeah.
You're 5.
I'm 5?
You're 4.
Oh,
you're
because
4.
of her.
You're 4.
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah, I'd have to find a different way. That's.
You have.
I don't want to have the same Kevin Bacon.
I was also just thinking about this.
Huh?
Because you.
I have one with Steven Crowder.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
you can get to, I think.
Kevin Bacon?
Steven Crowder to Kevin
Probably.
Bacon? I don't know.
I don't know, but
Absolutely.
I have like a 3-step process I have a 3-step process to be Steven Crowder. So I have
Well,
like a
if you have a
3-step
3-step to Steven,
Shoulder
then you have a
holsters.
4 to literally anyone he's ever
Yeah, I
had
know.
an interview with.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, it's 6 degrees of Kevin
Why is it six-
Bacon,
why is it
not
6 degrees?
7.
I thought it
You
was 7.
idiot.
Why is it?
It's
It was
6.
6?
The
I always thought
meme
it was
is
7.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The point was, there's that thing, right? And I think that in like 2, you can point at like any issue, or less than 2, any issue or any problem in the world, and be like pride or self-indulgence, right? And so that's why I would say, like, to flip that on its head a little bit, man, humility is just such a necessary thing, especially for the believer, but like real humility. And so it's something I'm kind of obsessed with, is talking about humility and humility in general. And so, yeah, all of that again to just say, I think it's really cool that you come back with what seems like maybe the typical answer, like, yeah, I went down there and learned some humility. But the way you learn humility is by talking to somebody about miracles and then going, man, I guess I really don't understand how miracles work. And then, yeah, so that's just cool. Ramble there a little bit, but I think it's cool. I'm also really glad you went. I'm a little bit jealous. I wish I could have gone.
100% jealous.
Yeah.
I really want to go.
Next year, you should go.
Next
It's
year?
2 years, right?
2 years?
No, you can do it every year. The
They-
school just had the DC trip, so they would do it on and off.
Oh. Is the school going next year, though?
No.
I wish I could have gone, though. And
Yeah.
when I
That's
found out
great.
it was going on, I was like, well, there's no way you and I can both go because somebody had to do your route while you were gone.
Yeah.
But
I heard a lot of good things about you today. Well, yesterday.
Oh, I wanted to ask about that.
Yeah.
So the ladies that I talked to and said that you were a prison reform
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I should probably tell that story.
What?
I did Jude's route for him last week.
Okay.
On route with
We're going to
Jerry.
talk about On Route with Jerry. Can we record a little intro real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Are you ready?
What am I, the vehicle?
You're the vehicle. Just make the vehicle noises.
Got it.
I'm a good driver.
My leg is broken.
I'm sorry, ma'am,
Oh
but I have to deliver this kettle corn.
no. Okay. That wasn't what I meant.
Why are the windshield wipers going? No, we gotta go. All right.
Pull over.
This is not what I meant.
This is the police.
Actually, it was en route with Jerry and Perry because she went with me, and it was awesome. But when I got to one of your deliveries, it was a store. I'm not gonna say the name of it, but there were these ladies at the cash register who think you're great. Like when I walked in, they were like, "What? Where's Jude?" And I was like, "Oh, well, he's gone." And
They're so sweet. They're
so
very,
very nice. Yeah. And I could tell, like you said in your notes thing, that there's some very nice ladies to talk to them.
They always make sure, like, if there's back stock, it's worked, and
Yeah.
because they want the corn to sell, because they're just nice.
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, where's Jude? He's so great." And I was like, "Well, he's gone. He's out of town right now, but I'm doing the route this week." And so we're like loading the thing up, and they're just talking to you about how great you are. And I was, it's actually really encouraging because I'm glad to hear that, because I've had a few firsthand accounts or whatever, but it's good to hear that he's doing well, because sometimes it can be a little stressful, as a manager, when you decide to take a risk and you hire someone from like a prison reform program. But I'm really proud of Jude, because sometimes it's hit or miss, and you get one who just doesn't work out. But Jude's really shaped up and like proven to be a good employee. And the one lady was like, and the other lady's like looking at me skeptically, and Perry's trying so hard not to laugh. She's laughing. And so the one lady goes, "She's laughing. He must be joking." And the other lady kind of like looks back at her and looks at me, and I'm like, "He's my brother. I'm just joking." But it was so funny. And then we just like laughed about it for a while and joked around. But he is a criminal.
He murdered.
That's actually why he's not here. He's in Mexico because he's fleeing for his life.
But he was a great worker. Man.
But he was a great driver. Yeah, he stole our van.
He stole our van.
No, it was super funny. But yeah, I'm curious, did they say anything about that?
Yeah, she was, only one was there, the taller one. And she had like customers, so we didn't actually get to have banter. But, because I guess you worked it while it was on that shelf, right?
Sure, yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. Because we used to have a rack, but now the shelf is like right in front of the
yes.
checkout. So I'm working it, and she just goes, "I heard about your prison work." And I was like, I heard
in front
about
of
this.
customers?
Yeah, she's like, "I heard about your prison work." And I'm just like putting corn up, and then we chuckled.
Doesn't
she
help
was
that
like-
you were wearing those new Susie Q's orange jumpsuits either.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It said convict on the back.
Yeah.
But then she was like, "Oh, your brother's such a sweet young man."
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's
And
nice
his
of her to say.
sister.
Oh,
No, they didn't say that.
that'd be awkward. Oh, boy.
But no. Yeah, just one day, and they already had something nice to say about you. They're just the kindest people.
Yeah. They must be real kind if they had something nice to say about me.
Liar.
That's funny. No, I had fun doing the route. I actually like that, because something I miss about what I do now is a lot of it is all here at the shop, and like I don't ever get to talk to people, and so it shows. I get to kind of like talk to people, interact with them, and they're happy and enjoying the kettle corn and stuff. And that's fun. But with the whole delivery thing, you get to just kind of like have fun, talk to people, and like I don't know, I enjoy it. I love driving around, and I think if I wasn't doing what I was doing, I would enjoy doing that. But I don't think you would enjoy doing what I do. So
No.
we couldn't
The
switch.
fun, albeit rare, but like just encounters with people does make up for just the dead driving hours. I
Yeah.
totally feel, because there's such concentrated little social moments. I like how you're like, these are the sweetest cashiers. I'm gonna lie to them.
Well, I didn't.
I'm gonna
know that
lead with
when
a
I-
lie.
I didn't know that when I got there.
Oh, these people are good
I should
people?
lie to these women.
I gotta lie to them.
It had nothing
Yeah.
to do with who they were.
You're so
it was,
kind.
It's all about
I'm going
who
to take
you are.
advantage of that.
Yeah, I guess I'm a
You're a
monster.
terrible person.
Yeah,
these people will believe whatever you tell them. I'm gonna lie right now.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
gonna
Jude put. No, Jude gave me the greatest
Yes, I did.
delivery notes, and I'm gonna go over it next episode. I'm gonna talk about them because they're very funny, but I need to curate them a little bit and pick out the best parts. But I just want to read to you guys some of those. So come back next week because that'll be fun. What?
They were pretty great.
They were pretty great.
I feverishly wrote them. I was huddled in a corner in Mexicali.
I sent Jude a picture that was like, I only need these stores.
But I couldn't load the picture.
I actually asked you to do it a week before you left. You didn't do it. And then when you were down there, what?
Come on, man. On air?
Yeah, dude. I told you. Because I was like, I don't want you to have to do it while you're in Mexico. Just write something about each of the stores so I know how to deliver it. And you're like, got it. Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll do that.
And didn't do it.
Did not.
And then the day before you left, I was like, hey, do this. Didn't do it.
Got it.
And then down in Mexico, 3 days in advance. Hey, please do this. Now you're in Mexico, though, so I understand. You had stuff going on. Didn't do it.
Easy.
And then the night before, I'm like, hey, man, I really need these delivery notes. I don't know what I'm doing. And
He's
then,
sitting there writing the devotionals, and he's like,
oh, shoot. Yeah. And then the next morning, I look at my phone. Longest text message ever. Every store. I had sent him a picture that was like, I only need these 6 stores. He sent me like 15 stores and information. I was like, well, he did way more work than he needed to do. But it was super funny. And so, yeah, come back next time. I'll read some of those. They're really funny.
I think the first 2 were just like very dry, and then it was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna start.
Yeah,
rambling.
towards the end, it was just ridiculous stuff like something about one guy that's like, find the guy who is the most normal looking guy, but with the saddest eyes you've ever seen. And I was like, okay, very funny. And I turn, and there's this guy walking by, and I'm like, that's him. I don't even have to ask. That's the guy I'm supposed to talk to because Jude's so right. He's the most just average white guy look, but also the saddest eyes. And then he looked at me and smiled, but his eyes didn't change. I was like, that's who Jude's talking
He's so
about.
nice.
That's incredible.
Like, I don't even have to ask. I know for 100%. And then he left. He got in his car and drove away.
Had a beard. And,
Yes.
Yeah,
He kind of looked like our Uncle Christian just
That's
enough.
the guy. Tan, brown beard. Uncle
Dude, he
Christian.
looked like a really nice
Dude.
guy. He left. Perry and I pulled into the parking spot, and I look over, and I'm like, where's he going? Got into a car, drove away. I was like, well, now who do I talk
That
to?
was my contact.
Off on some sad, happy adventure.
Just crying. Yeah.
It was. I've never met someone who had the most subjective description fit them 100%.
I was so impressed by your description and how, yeah, that was incredible.
It's
Well
crazy.
done. No, I'll read some more of those next week. They're funny. So we're over an hour here. I do want to talk about one more thing before we go. Easter is coming up. I was hoping that we'd be like well into the season and we could do like an Easter episode. But I don't know when this episode's going to air because we need kind of a week to make sure it gets edited and record another one and things like that. But Easter's coming up. We're recording on a Thursday. So this is Monday, right? Monday, Thursday right now. And then Good Friday tomorrow. But for Easter, I want to talk to you guys about it, kind of like we did with Christmas. What are you guys planning? What are you guys doing? How do you plan on celebrating it? What are you thinking about going into Easter? And what do you think the 4 of us should remember when going into Easter, and maybe the people listening as well? Anybody can go first, except for me, because I asked the question. What was it, a stupid question? Or?
No,
No, it's a great
I'm
question.
thinking.
It's a great question.
So
Just sneak attack. You know, it's-
Yeah.
for Easter, for me this year, if we're doing what?
Jude's laughing at me because I'm dumb.
Easter for me this year, we're doing family get together. All the great aunts and uncles and stuff like that.
Only the great ones?
Only the great ones because
Yeah, the actual aunts and uncles.
regular aunts and uncles aren't
don't
cool enough.
actually
They're not that
like
great.
interact with each other.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh, you're not joking.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
not.
joking.
I'm
My
not
bad.
joking.
My
That
bad.
was
Sorry.
that was
There
for
was
real.
serious and sarcasm in the same line.
Sarcasm. Sarcasm.
But yeah, grandma, grandpa, their family, sort of their brothers and sisters, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So the greats. They're all going to be getting together.
Not that my grandma and grandpa are brother and sister. That's not what he was
That's
saying.
also good clarification.
Because
I
it just
mean,
it
they all
sounds
do, but-
it sounds like that's what like my grandma, they're brother and sisters.
I can only think of one type of
THEII.
person that would say,
Possessive.
my grandparents aren't siblings.
They were all Mennonite. So like,
What?
I'm saying, I can only,
anyway,
there's only really one type of person that would say, my grandparents aren't siblings.
And it's the people whose grandparents are.
well, let's not get into that. So we're gonna hang out with them.
That's awesome.
That's gonna be kind of fun.
Yeah, have some Chinese food.
Have Chinese food.
The guy in the chair says his grandparents are siblings. No, he said,
Wow.
Wow.
my grandparents are first cousins.
You know, I
Is that
saw
real?
I
pretty
saw
great.
a
By
big-
blood?
That's,
Dude, that explains
isn't
so
that what a
much.
first cousin
Don't we?
is?
Don't we have a friend who's like grandma and grandpa?
No, I was wrong about that.
Oh yeah.
I was wrong about that. I have said for so long. I've thought for so long,
found
but I
out
don't know
after.
if. Are you serious?
That's crazy.
That's rough.
That's
man.
incredible.
Wait, what?
No,
So how has that affected you?
There was a
like mentally.
Look at him.
Do you have like flippers for feet?
Explains a lot.
I can't say that.
there was a study done, and who could have guessed it? It was out of University of Alabama, but that first cousins, it's not that bad unless you keep doing it. Like, unless you keep having first
Oh, more
cousins
and more
marrying.
first cousins?
Yeah. Like, but if you just
Once isn't that bad.
as
It's
long
not
as
that
it's,
bad
it's,
unless
it's
you do it
not
for a while.
actually that bad unless you
So not-
continuously keep having first cousins down the cycle.
Byron, you were actually talking about something
So-
meaningful.
But yeah, we're gonna have Chinese with them, and I'm ignoring the laughter.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have Chinese food. It's gonna be nice, just hang out with that. But the rest of the like my sphere of people that I hang out with most of the day, which is my work coworkers, are not Christian. So actually, it's surprising that it's already Easter for me because
Like it snuck up on you?
like snuck up because there's no one talks about it, no one does anything about it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's here, cool, and they like refuse to talk about or intercede or like interact or talk about any of the stuff that's not Christian.
Snuck up on the disciples too.
That's so good.
That is really good.
That's so good. Oh my gosh.
Dude, I thought you were over there because you had a pensive look on your face. I was like, he's got something insightful to say because you were like, whoops. That is so funny. I'm sorry, Byron.
You're good.
That was good.
Man in the chair. Well played.
Yeah, that was good.
But no, like they just don't talk about that kind of stuff. I have one Protestant Christian coworker, and we just like do quick glances or quick things, and we say certain things to each other only in private because
Right.
everyone else is just has such a dogma against Christianity, against any of that kind of stuff.
Just going around the workplace. He's risen. He's risen indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you
I-
guys like draw the fish thing?
what?
When you're talking to each
You know,
other,
the,
drawing
like,
the fish
old
in the
Christian
sand. in
thing.
front
They
of you.
like go into the sand with their feet
Oh,
and they
you-
draw
you-
one line and then
you draw one
is that,
line
Is
and
that a
then
wives'
you-
tale? Or is that real?
That was
That's
a
real?
real Roman thing because
Yeah, Byron takes
Yeah.
off his
I figured it was
shoe
real,
and
but-
his sock, and he draws a fish.
So we do take off our shoes every once in a while, but anyway,
yeah, you draw one line of the fish and then the
Yeah.
other person.
I just didn't. I realized as I was saying it was like I've always heard that, but it could have been a wives' tale. And yeah, if they were Christians, they would draw the other half.
Well,
Yeah,
wives
okay.
did tell about
But-
it. No, continue.
Good.
but yeah, it's kind of we just don't talk about those kind of things, and like I just did not realize it was already here, and I was like, whoa. So I go to a different church than you, so I didn't have the Ash Wednesday. Our church didn't do it.
Right.
And so it was like this season of time hasn't really been I hasn't felt like Easter, hasn't felt like that kind of stuff,
Right.
because my church is has a little bit different traditions and stuff like that, which are it's just fine. But all of a sudden Easter's here in 4 days.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm excited, man.
It's cool.
I love it. It's just, you know how some people absolutely love the Christmas season and like the whole season they're just like gearing up for it and looking forward to it. This is that for me. I just love it. It's my favorite. It's so happy, like especially. Well, I mean, as a Christian, like it's meaningless if you're not. But I mean, it is. It's about a rabbit that poops eggs.
They get eggs.
Yeah. Ooh. You guess what they get? Candy. You get candy at every holiday.
Egg. Yeah.
Egg.
I just think of Danny DeVito, just like
Because he looks like an egg, or
no, because he
Could I
talks about
interest
eggs
you in
all the
this
time.
egg?
Yeah.
oh, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Can I offer you this egg in your time of need?
Oh, yeah.
So back to the question. Yeah, I just love Easter, and I love the time leading up to it. And so maybe that's one of the reasons for me, like leading up to it, I definitely felt that way, is because I look forward to it every year. So I know last year, this year, like February rolls around, and I'm like, oh, Easter's right around the corner. Like that 40 days leading up to Easter, here we go. And then Ash Wednesday, that was my first time doing that, but it was wonderful because it just does kind of set the tone at the very beginning, and then it does feel like it's been kind of like what is it? How many days of Christmas? The 25 days of Christmas or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the 40 days of Easter leading up to
Advent
it.
calendar thing.
There's
Well,
the 12
the
days
25
of Christmas and then the
Oh,
25
yeah.
days
It's
of
like-
Christmas.
Because it really helps to have like Lent going on.
Yes.
That like sets you up so you don't forget that Easter is coming, and then Holy Week right now.
Yeah. Lent does a great job of like for 40 days basically, if you do Lent and what you choose to give up, like that should hopefully be daily or multiple times daily reminders.
Yeah.
And what that should do is if you're giving something up and there's something that you go, oh, I'm not doing that right now because I've given it up and I've dedicated that time instead to God, then you're constantly being reminded of what is important, which is Easter's coming up, and what is Easter about? The fact that he is risen, right? And so hopefully for those 40 days, you're like training yourself to think about it consistently. And then what if that in turn, the rest of the year, you think about it consistently? Like, it's beautiful. And I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, cool. What else are you guys doing? Or is that,
I think that's it.
yeah. You have an interesting opportunity where you work though, right? I'm sure it sounds like it's stressful, but
Yeah, it's actually really hard to talk about any of that kind of stuff because
Yeah.
it just gets shot down,
Yeah.
and just you get demolished. Not demolished, but it's not applicable for Christian sharing in certain aspects of it. We have some Christian patients that will come through,
yeah.
and they'll talk to the therapist and say certain things, and then as soon as they're out of the room and it's behind closed doors, it's like, well, that was, and I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm-
tough.
So this is like going back to a podcast that I wasn't a part of, but we were talking about the secret agent Christians.
Yeah.
You're
What was
talking
when Chad was on?
Yeah, like just being hidden under the weeds. You're hidden. You're not really like out there in everyone's face, and it's that kind of a thing. It's what I do. It's like, I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna pray for my patients because I can pray in my head and not let anyone know.
Yeah.
But
And
then
I
I
mean,
can
what
also-
you're doing, your witness is like your example, hopefully,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And then I think that you just have to be ready and prepared to give an explanation or to give an account like for the faith that you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so also I think that there's something to be said about if they are dragging like the name of God or like what God says or who God is through the mud, you stand in interesting position to defend him.
They
Right?
don't.
Or to defend what he teaches.
They
Because
don't go back behind the doors and be like, "Oh, that's just blah 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 blah," and just drag them through. They're not that way. They're just
That's
like
good.
they're like they'll hear what they say and then they'll quickly change subjects, turn corners, and then
Right.
just let it go.
Okay.
And
well,
so it's
yeah.
I don't know how to step in yet. There is the other therapist that I can talk to. And
Yeah.
I've talked to them a little bit and be like, "Hey, what are you thinking about this?"
Yeah.
And so
Well, I'm glad that there's somebody
But-
there who you can, leading up to Easter,
It's nice.
celebrate it with.
yeah.
Dude, that sounds I don't mean to like romanticize it,
Uh-huh.
but it sounds like very, like just like a real struggle. But it's like being someone who has the armor of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every day you take off each strap and clean each piece of armor, and your job is just kind of to be always prepared and kind of work on yourself to be, like you kind of said, secret agent or sleeper agent.
Yeah.
But then when the opportunity arises, so you can be absolutely like do the right thing. But that's a really admirable spot to be, I think. And I think
It's terrifying.
it's gotta be, but that's like a real duty.
Yeah.
I respect that.
It is difficult to be in those situations though, and scary, because sometimes you're just like, you know, what is the reaction going to be to? We think that so often, I guess. Anyway, like just if we want to share the gospel with someone or invite them to church, often we're like, oh, how are they going to react? And I've been trying to invite people to church more lately, and I'm kind of slowly learning that it's like, what do I stand to lose? I guess, and that's an oversimplification, because sometimes it does feel like, you know, somebody really close to you or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm just kind of learning that they have everything to gain, and what do I have to lose, because I have God, and so nothing else matters, and I want them to think the same way. I want them to know that as well, and to know Him, and so I've been trying to be more bold and inviting people, and I'm very excited. There's some people that are going to be there that I've talked to and for Easter, and there's others who aren't, but that's okay, and I will keep trying. But yeah, sorry. So we got to hurry this up. But Jude, Levi,
Sorry.
Easter. What are you guys thinking about? What are you guys thinking about rolling into Easter? And is there something about it that you're trying to remember right now? You think people should be remembering, or what?
Excited for it. There's one person that I'm really trying to like get to go with me to Easter.
Yeah.
And so hopefully he goes and it can be really good and some good conversations could come out of it. So just prayer for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's an easy, it's like the that and the Christmas are the easiest times to get non-believers to go to church.
Yeah. Those are the two easiest
Because it's
days.
like, oh, this is the thing to do.
Yeah.
Like,
and it can
that's-
also feel more like an event, less than just a
Yeah.
service.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I'm really thinking about, like, going into this. I mean, also, heck yeah, he died and has risen again for my sins.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, incredible. But yeah, looking forward to Good Friday service and then
Me too.
Sunday. And my dad's like, all right, so I've got church thing tonight, and then I've got Good Friday service, and then I've got another church thing on Saturday, and then I've got church thing on Sunday, and then I've got dinner afterwards with all the family. And I'm just like, yeah. That's like what happens to the weekend and stuff around Easter.
Yeah. It's always busy.
But
Anything to add, Jude?
I feel like a sense of pride in a way. I hate to compare it to the 4th of July, but in the same way that like nationalism, but like you were kind of maybe getting at, like heck yeah, he is risen.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. It was like a joy. It's joy. That would be the word, I guess.
Yeah, in a weird way, you're kind of right. I guess we've talked about this about the 4th of July before, how whenever it's happening, it's around there, we just feel this kind of like, yeah, there's like a happiness and there's a thankfulness. I don't often get like America at all ever, but 4th of July has
pretty cool.
where I'll sit there and I'll go, you know, the older I get, the more I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Easter, in a more meaningful way,
Yeah.
is a similar feeling sometimes, because it's like this, it's like a celebration that I actually feel celebratory of.
Yeah.
More than most holidays.
Like, what's worth celebrating if not
Like,
Jesus' return?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think going into Easter this year, I think something that has been made aware to me, I've been made aware of, and I think people should be thinking about and certainly praying about. So for those listening and us, you guys kind of touched on it earlier, but this is one of the days where a lot of people who wouldn't typically be at church are going to be at church. So let's be praying for them, right? If we've been inviting people and they're going, and also even people that don't get invited, like, they go on Easter because it's like the cultural thing to do sometimes. Now, I think that happens way less than it used to, but a lot of people are at church who are not typically there, and a lot of them are unbelievers. We've got to be praying for them. And then, even more than that, we need to be following up with them. So if they're people that we invited, or if they're people that are new that you are at church and you are talking to and you are showing around, whatever, like, follow up with them, because be praying for them and tell them that you're praying for them, and try and get a hold of them and talk to them, because they might have a burning question after that service that never gets answered, and so they never come back, or they don't come back for a while.
Especially since this is going to air after Easter. We don't know if it's
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be
that's true.
like the week of Easter
Yeah.
or the week after.
It probably won't. It'll
but
probably be the week
it's
after.
important because the other best time besides Christmas and Easter to get somebody to go to church is right after those services, because you've already gotten them through the door once. So you can try
And it's fresh in their mind,
yeah, and
hopefully they had a good experience.
and the Spirit may have led them and they're nervous about it, so like giving them a push can be helpful. And yeah,
And if we believe what we're talking about is true, and we do, all four of us do, then we should want it for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And that's been something, that's been on my mind. And there was an analogy made by a guy in the chair at a recent Bible study, and something I'd never heard before, but it's like, if we're standing at the door before this door that we know we open it and it's paradise with God forever, and we look over across the way and there's another door, and we know with certainty behind it is pain and suffering and separation from God forever, and somebody's about to open that door, why would we not go screaming like, no, don't open that door, and like get them over here? And there should be urgency, right? Because we love them and because we don't want that for them. And that should translate into kindness and care in the way that we talk to them, because we want to be respectful with our words, but we want there to be urgency. And I mean, there's like this two sides of the same coin, where the urgency becomes like screaming and yelling, and then that can kind of become like this putting them down almost for not seeing the truth, which I think turns people away. And then there can be the thing that turns people away because they are never told, because people just kind of grow complacent in like, they're going to go, but I'm not, and whatever. But like, yeah. And so that urgency and that care and that love for people and that desire to share the gospel with them and for them to know and believe in the gospel, that means, there's some just practical steps that we need to take as believers. And I think one of them is just what I've been thinking about is follow up with people. Like, don't let them go forgotten. Don't think it's just enough that you invited them and they came to church, and then if they don't come back, be wondering, that's weird. I guess it just wasn't for them. Like, nope, you've got a responsibility. You've got a responsibility to check up on that person, to continue to be an example in their life, to answer their questions or to get the answers for them if they've got questions, and to get them to come back. And they may feel forgotten because they get forgotten. So don't let that happen. That's what I'm thinking about with Easter. Because I already, all the other stuff's already true. I already love it. It's already exciting and it's amazing. So, yeah. Cool. All right, guys. It's super, super late. And it was a long episode. Sorry we went so long. But it was the first episode with video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. This is super exciting. I can't wait for the next one. It's been an absolute blast. We love you very much.
roll the outro.
What? We're supposed to all look at the camera right at the end? We love you very much.
Yes, we do.
Roll the outro.
I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you. and I like you just the way you are.